What's up, everybody? I'm Eduardo.
And I'm Brandon.
We're going to be talking about this app that Brandon has been using called.
Yeah, today we're going to do a review of an app called EveryDollar, which I don't know if I'd say made by Dave Ramsey, but I think it comes from his company. He wrote a really good book about personal finance, and in that book he talks a lot about this app. That's where I heard about it, and that's why I started using it.
Sounds awesome. So you use EveryDollar to basically write down everything you spend and everywhere you spend it.
Yeah, so again, I highly recommend the book because that's a great place to start.
Which book is it?
It is called...
I think no disrespect to Dave Ramsey, right? But I think the only book I know about him is The Total Money Makeover.
Yeah, that's it.
Is that the one?
Yeah, The Total Money Makeover.
So maybe I didn't pay enough attention.
Yeah, that's the book. He talks about budgeting in that book, and that's kind of like the first concept that he goes over is budgeting, which I found it to be something really fascinating because it's a super boring subject.
Yeah.
The word budgeting makes you fall asleep right when you hear it. But that's what this app is all about.
Brandon, sorry to interrupt you, but would you believe me if I told you I have the book up here?
Oh, sick.
And I have the workbook one.
Oh, shoot.
Look at that.
I don't know when this was published. Oh, 2003.
It's pretty old.
Yeah, it's pretty old by now. But it's a great book. I was listening to it during the pandemic when I was... the job that I had at the time, I was working in an office/fulfillment center, little warehouse thing.
Oh, nice.
And it was just me.
Yeah.
It was just me every day, all day. So I was listening to podcasts, audiobooks, and that's when I was listening to that book.
Yeah. So I didn't read this book. I think I have the book just because I like looking over. There's a bookcase on this side of us, by the way. And just seeing these authors, right? There's Gary Vaynerchuk up there as well.
Tony Robbins,
you name
Robert
it.
Kiyosaki.
Yes, sir. And it just kind of, surrounding myself with these minds and brains and kind of going into that, right? But I also did what you did, is kind of listen to it on podcast. So maybe I wasn't paying that much attention because I didn't hear of an app called EveryDollar.
Yeah, and actually, maybe I was listening to like an updated version. This was written in 2003, and sometimes authors will like revise their older books to be current, and so that's probably what happened actually. Because I listened to it from Audible, like you buy the audio version, and then yeah, so it was probably a revised version. Anyways, he talks about this app called EveryDollar. It's all about budgeting. And once I started using it, it kind of opened my eyes to like the very basic idea of how important budgeting is and how far I was not doing that, or like how badly I was not doing that.
Right.
And needed to do it.
And needed to do it, right, exactly. Well, question for you. Did you gain interest in EveryDollar for budgeting for a specific goal?
No.
Just
no, I gained interest
moolah.
in that book and in the budgeting app, not for a specific goal, but just to be smarter with money. And you know what? Actually, I think a big catalyst to that was at the time I was getting more and more into investing in stocks, funds, a couple of individual stocks as well. I was learning a lot more about that, and I was getting excited about it. And as I was getting excited about it, I was realizing like you want to invest so much every month. They call it dollar cost averaging. Like you'll put in $50, $100, $500, whatever it is, $1,000 per month, whatever you can afford, right? But you do it consistently every month, so that over time, like the market's going to go up, it's going to go down. But since you're doing it consistently over time, it's going to average itself out.
Dang, what did you call it?
Dollar cost averaging.
Dollar cost averaging.
Yeah, so some months you'll be putting in money when the stock market's really high, so you'll be buying stocks when they're really expensive, which isn't great. But then other months, since you're doing it consistently, you'll be buying when stocks are really low.
Yeah.
And so it's a good, consistent way to invest your money, supposedly.
And overall, the market is just on an upward cycle. So
Yeah, if you zoom out long enough, it's usually always kind of in that upward trajectory.
it's awesome.
But anyways, that's a little bit of a digression because the reason we brought that up is I was getting excited about that, right?
Yeah.
Like I was thinking, shoot, I want to invest more money. I want to see my money grow, work for me, all that stuff. But then you look at how much you have left over each month to actually put into the stock market. And it's limited. You got your paycheck, you pay your rent, you got your food, you live your life. And there's a little portion of that that's supposed to go to investing. If you want to invest more so that you can make more money faster, you have to either get another job, do a side hustle, get a raise, like you do that part.
Right.
Or you can lower your expenses, right?
Got it.
Now, the reason why this came into play, though, was like we can all lower our expenses probably a lot quicker than we can get a raise or get a higher paying job. Like,
And in a less uncomfortable way. Yes.
yeah, I mean, definitely do those things, but those take a little bit longer,
Right.
to do. A little bit more planning. Expenses can be cut right now,
Right.
right? You can make a decision to stop going to the movies every month or whatever it is. I don't know.
Getting takeout every day. Yeah.
Yes, but the issue for me, and I'm sure for a lot of people, was that how do you cut expenses? It's hard to cut expenses when you don't really know what you're even spending your money on.
Right.
Right?
Right. Exactly.
And even just opening this app and like starting to type in what I'm spending my money on every month was already, before even using it, like just setting it up was already a game changer, because I would look at it and be like, oh shoot, I've been spending like hundreds of dollars just eating out every month, right? Like hundreds, several hundred sometimes, which is fine. Like,
If that's what you want to do, and if that's what your goal is, right?
but then I reflected on it, and it's like I don't really even care about food that much.
Right.
So I don't need nice meals. I like to be around people, and that's usually why I spend money on meals.
Yeah.
But can I be around people and not spend all of that money?
Exactly.
Maybe,
Yeah.
And what's more important is if I save that several hundreds of dollars every month because I'm having food that I don't really care about anyways, I can put that in the stock market. And I do care about that.
And I do care about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
So I guess in a nutshell, like before even going full on into the app, like that was the light.
Catalyst.
That was the catalyst right there. Was like it showed me how messed up I was sometimes being with my money. Right? And until you look at it, until you see it on the screen or on paper or whatever, you just live your life.
I don't.
You know?
Let me tell you, I'm scared to see my spending on paper on every dollar. It would be pretty scary.
Yeah.
It wasn't you didn't experience hesitation at all signing up for EveryDollar at all because of that?
No, not at all. I mean, I thought the book was great.
Yeah.
So again, if you read the book, you'll probably get inspired or motivated to start doing something, because he makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
He makes a lot of sense, and it's not about like investing in the stock market necessarily. It's not about like a lot of ways that you think somebody talking about finances what they would tell you to do. It's like for the everyday person, this is the tried and true way to just be smarter with your money.
Sure.
Right? It's called the total money makeover, because it's like you haven't been good with finances. This is how to just like clean that up and start being a responsible adult.
Yes, sir.
Basically.
So walk us through your laptop is on the TV now. Kind of walk us through what EveryDollar kind of looks like and kind of what it does, right?
Yeah, so the page that I'm on right now, I went onto this page purposely because this talks about the baby steps. So you sign up for the app. It's completely free. There's a free version and a paid version. We'll mostly talk about the free version.
Okay.
And I just started on this page. This isn't the page you land on when you open it, but this is a great page to start on because this is the framework of the book.
Got it.
This is the total money makeover right here, right? For instance, baby step number 1 is you're saving the initial part of your emergency fund,
That's cool.
right?
And let me ask you, this is yours specifically, right?
It is, but as you'll see, like I kind of zeroed out all of my stuff, so my actual financial information isn't up there.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, so you got the baby steps. Baby step one, baby step two is to start working on your debt, your credit card, your student loans, your car loans, like just chipping away at it. And there's a technique on how he suggests that you do that. And we won't go through everything, but you got that one. You got baby step three, which is to save a full-on emergency fund of 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Now, the beauty of the app is that as you start typing your own personal information in, putting in your own figures and numbers, these things update.
Nice.
Right. So as this is just what it starts as, but as an example, if your emergency fund or 3 to 6 months worth of expenses was $14,000, as it says on the screen, that's what you're trying to get your emergency fund up to. So as every month, as you're doing your budgeting, you're putting in your numbers, you're putting in your income, that's going to start updating itself.
Wow.
So this page helps you see in the app, how am I following the baby steps? Like, am I going through them? You know.
It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Again, it goes hand in hand with the book, so it's nice that the app references that and updates in real time.
Yeah.
Like all the stuff to keep you on track with that stuff. The heart and soul of the app, though, is this budgeting tab at the top. If you've read the book, too, when he talks about budgeting, he talks about, I think it's called zero-based budgeting.
Yeah.
Which is a budgeting technique where it's like every month you anticipate, okay, this is how much I get paid every month from my job, from whatever work I do, right?
Yes, sir.
$5,000 a month, whatever it is. I know I have that coming in, right? So at the start of the month, or actually ideally before that month even starts, you're looking ahead, like let's see, this is a budget for April. For us, that's next month. You're looking ahead and you're saying, okay, if I'm making $5,000 in April coming up, let's spend that entire $5,000. Let's make sure that every dollar is accounted for, right? So, you know, your rent, you give an estimate of how much you spend on groceries every month. You give an estimate on how much you spend on gas every month. Figure out like how much do I need to put in towards my emergency fund? How much do I need to put in towards investments? So by the end of April, you know that every dollar that you're receiving has a job, like it has a place to go to. So that's how this works. And you're going to put in your income in this top section, and then you're going to start putting in how much you're anticipating, you're planning to spend for each expense. And by the end of it, your entire, if it was $5,000, should be depleted down to zero.
Wow.
You've given every dollar a place to go.
Right. Assigned it somewhere.
Yeah. And that's basically what this app helps you do.
It's kind of really cool, man. And the setup of it is awesome too. Like, I don't even want to try and think of an app that I used to use a few years ago, but it certainly didn't look this organized. You know, there's tabs on the side. It looks like, did you create these, or were these items like phone bill, personal care items, haircut, clothes? Is that something you have to create, or is that something the app told you give money or assign money toward these things?
It's actually both. So when you sign up for the app, you just open up for the first time. It's going to give you like a template, a framework, and you can use it if you want just as it is. But you can also add entire sections, and you can add subsections.
Nice.
Right? So there's a section for food. Everybody's got to pay for food every month.
I hope so.
But for me, I separated it into the three like most obvious categories that I actually spend food money on. So for instance, groceries. Right?
Yeah.
How much money am I spending on like going to the supermarket, bringing food, putting it in the refrigerator, and I'm going to cook it throughout the month? But I also divvied it out into these two categories because I realized I was spending a ton of money on these things. Hundreds of dollars on snacks and drinks.
Yeah.
Just going to the gas station, getting something from inside, grabbing energy drinks. Always big
that
on
kind of
energy drinks.
snacks.
Going out for coffee, having a $5 coffee. So if I wanted to,
Damn.
I could divvy that out even further, right? Like this category could say snacks, and then I could put another one that says coffee, another one that says alcohol, another one that says whatever. This is just how I laid it out. And then down below it says eating out, right? So like I'm going out to a restaurant, going on a date, going out with some friends.
Yeah, I love that it's right. What you said at the beginning, that going out with people has cost you more, right? Because that shows exactly that.
Oh, dude, that's a low number, man. Right now, I don't. It says 300 on there.
Yeah.
I guess I forgot to zero that one out. But that was like, there was a month where that was $700. I
Oh
think
my gosh. I mean,
$700.
no judgment because I think even this past weekend, I paid a bill for me and Gabby that was about $300.
Yeah.
So on one weekend, not counting the other three in the month, we could blow some money on going out.
Yeah, and I should say though, I love where that conversation is going because that in itself is not a bad thing,
Right.
right? Like you want to spend $300 on your significant other, go out to dinner, pick up the whole tab, like go for it. If that makes you happy, that makes her happy, everything's cool. The beauty of this app though is like you see it, right? So there's no mistaking like, okay, not only did I pay it, but having it on the screen and being able to see it makes it so much easier to think to yourself, or I'll speak for myself, right? For me to think to myself, okay, that $300, I've already used up my entire budget for the month. If I saved that $300 down here in stocks, for instance, well, if I figure out a way to either not have that expense or to lower it, I can put that $300 to stocks. And you can start playing with the numbers, right?
Right.
So, for instance, you're planning this in April, and let's just say, for example, you always tend to spend about $300 on just eating out at restaurants. Every dollar is already accounted for. You're thinking to yourself, like, yeah, I would like to invest more, make money faster. Then you just say, okay, my planned amount for eating out, instead of 300, I'm going to make it 150 or
Makes
$100. Now I can put that 150 into the stock tab. And now on this sheet, it's showing me that I have a planned amount to invest in my stocks, an extra $150.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's now begs to ask the question, right? What does the app give you automatically, right? Like you sign up. What are the categories that Dave Ramsey has chosen to say these are the default? Like you must have these.
So pretty much by default, like this is the page. It's something to help you organize your budget. What am I planning to spend? As you go throughout your life and you buy gas, you buy food, you invest in stocks, you buy gifts for somebody's birthday, whatever. You type it into this, right? Like I'll keep my receipts, or I'll just like, I'll be at the cashier. The cashier says, oh, it's $5 something for your coffee. Right after I leave the cashier, I'm like opening the app and I'm typing in $5 Starbucks, updating it. So that what's going to happen is for me on this snacks and drinks column, again, this is just a sample. It says I have $80 planned for the month. I'm budgeting $80. I'm allowing myself $80 on coffee, drinks, snacks, whatever for April, right? Go to Starbucks, get that $5 coffee, come into this app, press this plus button, $5.15, whatever it is. Starbucks, I write in Starbucks because that's what's going to show on my bank statement. So when I'm referencing my bank statement, boom, it's the same name. The date split. If I go to the grocery store and some of it's for snacks, some of it's for pharmaceuticals, some of it's for toilet paper, those are all different categories. So I can put in the big amount at the top and then split it into those different categories. And it'll automatically shoot them to the different.
That's kind of really cool, actually.
And then notes, like if there's any notes about it, right? So I put in $5.15, track that expense for Starbucks. And now look what it shows right here. The planned amount is still the same, $80. That's how much I'm planning for April. But on this column, it's showing me, okay, out of that planned amount, I have $74.85 left before I run out of that Starbucks budget.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I can also click this. Sorry, I can click this and press spent, and it'll show me, okay, why do I have $74? Oh, because I spent $5.15 so far.
Yeah. That was going to be my question, actually, is does it change colors based on where it's at?
I think once you hit up your whole budget, it will turn red.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put this in here. Let's say I bought snacks and drinks worth $74.85. So I've exhausted my entire budget. You can see for snacks and drinks, it says remaining. You got nothing left.
Yeah.
You already spent your budget. But I'm at the counter. I'm about to buy another Starbucks because I'm irresponsible, right?
Yes.
I'm going to buy another $5.15. So if I did that for Starbucks, boom, negative $5.15. I'm over my budget.
Yeah.
Now I'm in trouble because I've already, before this month started, I've already decided where every single dollar that I'm going to make is going to go.
Yeah.
Right? So if I do this and I just go through the transaction and I don't change any other thing in my life, well, I'm actually going to be over budget. I'm spending more than I actually am making. So I'm going to be in debt. Like, that's a problem. But this is all just a planning tool, right? So I can then go in and say, okay, I am overspending on snacks and drinks this month. Let me find a way to cut this gas budget down by, I mean, obviously $5 isn't a big drop in your gas budget, but the idea would be like, okay, let me take away that overage from another category. So I'll suffer in gas. I'll have to pay a little bit less in gas, or I'll get a little bit less in gas because I'm buying this extra drink elsewhere.
Yeah. And none of it, like you said earlier, is per se wrong or bad. It's just that you're doing the things you want to do. It's just you now have a number in front of you.
Yeah.
To quantify it, to give it a value. So gosh, I mean, it looks incredible. All right. It's the first, and I'm really, thank you, by the way, for not showing me this before the video, because it's kind of cool to just react to it just as I'm looking at it, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Is there a category where you do like your monthly Netflix is going to charge you every month, your gym is going to charge you every month? Do you allocate, for that?
Yeah, so there can be a Netflix category, Spotify. Like, for instance, me, I have a Spotify category that I put under this header called lifestyle. And again, you can organize this any way you want. So Spotify, Netflix, Hulu, I don't know, Audible. You can just put all of that stuff into something called subscriptions. Or you can list out every single one. It's just whatever helps you keep your life organized.
Right. Yeah. I would have a category for vintage weekend shopping with Gabby.
There you go. Yeah, you could put vintage weekend shopping and like see how much of your budget is going to go specifically.
Antique stores. How much did we spend there?
Yeah, and then I don't have anything in here right now, but if you were to put in something for debt, or if you were to put in something for savings, you see it says emergency fund. As you put in your budgeted amount, you put in how much you're actually spending or investing throughout the month. That's where it's going to start updating those baby steps.
Yeah.
So that those categories are linked to this.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So for instance, the Netflix category isn't linked to anything on this page, but a couple of those categories are.
Is what we're talking about right now the free version of this app?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, this is all the free version. Now, a big downside to the free version, maybe you could say downside, is that it requires you to be diligent in recording every transaction that you do. Mm-hmm. Right? I kind of enjoy it. I wanted it that way because it forced me to like really be aware of what I'm doing and to take that extra minute to like constantly view this app.
Yeah.
But some people might not like that, right? Like, for instance, there's been times where I will, let's take the Starbucks example, go get a coffee at Starbucks, buy it. I don't immediately pull open the app and add that transaction. I forget or I wait. Mm-hmm. And then time just goes by. I forgot all about it. I'm like kind of looking later in the month, like, hey, let me just review my budget. My numbers aren't accurate because I never put in that Starbucks transaction, right? So what I would have to do is towards the end of every month, I'd have to look at my bank statement and line by line, I'd have to see, okay, is that transaction on EveryDollar? Yes. Is this one on EveryDollar? Yes.
Okay.
This is a time-consuming process. Again, I wanted it that way for myself because it forced me to be like diligent on what's going on in my finances.
And at that moment, you know, you go to Starbucks, you do it immediately after.
That's the key. If you can get in the habit of every time you leave a cash register
It's pretty hard,
or
though.
buy something online, you immediately go into the app, you'll never have to reference your bank statement because you've put in every transaction already. You don't have to cross-reference, right? But the premium version, you can connect everything. You connect your credit cards, your bank accounts, whatever you want.
Oh, wow.
So every transaction automatically gets recorded.
Damn.
Yeah. You might have to go in and kind of like rename some things or something. I don't know. But you never have to worry about, oh, I forgot. Did I spend money at some place that I didn't record it? You know, it's just going to automatically pick it up.
Yo, that's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Because then, and who pays with cash anymore? Not a lot of people. you
Right.
know? So it's more often that you will pay with your debit card or your credit card or whatever. And the app itself, EveryDollar, will maybe frequently just check, hey, what did this guy spend? And just add it for you, basically.
Yeah. I don't know how well it works. I haven't tried the premium version.
Okay.
Again, I think the free version is super valuable.
Yeah.
Just
For sure.
just for the simple fact, like even if you don't record every transaction and everything, just for the simple fact that setting your account up makes you realize like, oh damn, I'm spending a lot on vintage shopping with my wife. You know what I mean? Like too much.
Yeah.
That's already worth just signing up for an account
Right.
easily. But like, yeah, this is, for instance, what you get with the free version, what you get with the premium version. So you get that bank connectivity. They give you reports, like custom budget reports. For instance, on this Insights tab, the free version will tell you you've spent this much on credit cards, you spent this much on food, you spent this much on transportation. Like it goes down over the last year,
Right.
right? But if you want something more specific, like a breakdown per month or per week on what you've spent your money on, if you want, like, this is going to show you a graph, side by side income that you've made versus how much you've spent.
Wow. That's really cool. Actually.
This is the premium version stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So I would love to have these. Again, I haven't signed up for premium, but these I think would be super interesting because I'm sure these are a very good visual to make you see like, oh dang, I'm spending a lot on this, and I can see the bar on the bar graph.
Yeah.
That type of thing. So with the premium version, you get that. You get those better reports. I think automatic transaction streaming is kind of that same concept we were talking about. It's going to reference your bank account. It's going to reference your credit cards.
Yeah.
Put the transactions where they're supposed to be. Smart tracking recommendations, I think, also goes to like recommending how to categorize things. And then group coaching. That sounds pretty cool. I don't know how intimate that coaching session would be, but apparently they offer coaching if you get the premium version, which is like, I think $80 a year.
Oh,
like that.
wow. That's really cool.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I would highly recommend the app.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend that everybody reads the book and then signs up for an account and just sets it up. If you never use it, you still get the value of just having set up the account.
We're going to leave a link in the description for EveryDollar in case you want to give it a shot. It's the first time I actually look at it. I think it's a great app. The website looks awesome.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, check it out, click the link, set up your page, and send us a comment on how it goes for you.
Yeah, let us know how it goes. I'd love to hear it. I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna sign up for it. I have a few things to save up for. They're gonna be super expensive, but yeah, I think I'm gonna try it. And kind of just start seeing my money in front of me. You know,
Yep.
that'd be great.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much for listening. I'm Eduardo.
I'm Brandon.
This is the Money Perspective, and catch you next time.
See you next time.